Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Mid-Atlantic Tech Bridge Tech Talk, where we're going to talk about ODU Maritime Initiatives. We ask that everyone keep themselves on mute and your cameras off. And as you have questions to share with Elspeth throughout the Tech Talk, we ask that you put those into chat, and we'll save some time at the end for Q&A. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Roy Weiser to do a quick introduction on the Mid-Atlantic Tech Bridge.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Roy Weiser here. I'm on the bottom right. I'm from NSWC Dahlgren Division, Dam Neck Activity down there at Virginia Beach. And then the other two local people that we have on this MATB is Gerald Walker over to my right. And he's in here, and also Dr. Julie Stark, who is not able to attend this afternoon. We've started these series, Tech Talks, Technologies of Interest, Academia, Industry, and basically what the MATB Tech Bridge is looking for, non-traditional solution providers for warfighter gaps and requirements. And we're focused on small businesses, academia, and other non-traditional activities, like I mentioned. We do have upcoming schedules, Tech Talks. You can look at the QR code over to the right, and also you can see our presence on the various social media QR codes. So without any further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Eileen Brewer from 757 Collab, and she'll give you a little introduction there.
Hi, my name is Eileen Brewer, and I work with 757 Collab, and we are the PIA partner for the Mid-Atlantic Tech Bridge. We're based in downtown Norfolk, Virginia, and we offer 3 different resources into the community. The first thing that we offer is 757 Startup Studios. This is for very early stage startups who are at ideation or they need to do market research. We give 6 months of free co-working and weekly training and access to mentors and subject matter experts. There's no cost to anybody participating in that. The next resource that we offer into the community is 757 Accelerate. It's an intensive 12-week training program that happens once a year in the fall. In this one, we ask that the startup already has a full-time founder working on the business and that they have a product and customers and revenue. During those 12 weeks, we provide experts, mentors, and introductions to investors. At the end of the 12 weeks, we take them out on what we call the Investor Roadshow, where they actually get to pitch with multiple investors. So by the time they leave the program, they've had a bunch of training and a pocket full of investors they're working with. The third resource we offer into the community is 757 Angels, powered by Venture South. This is a local network of angel investors who are looking to invest in Virginia-based and Southeast region-based startups. Each one of these entities has their own website, their own application, their own calendar of events, and their own criteria, but all of them are available to all of the innovators in the region. Thanks.
All right, and without any further ado, we are going to turn it over to our guest speaker, Elspeth, to talk about maritime initiatives at ODU. Over to you, Elspeth.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for that warm welcome. Very happy to be here. Hope you guys are all doing well today on this very warm Wednesday down in Norfolk. So I am the new Associate Vice President for Maritime Initiatives at Old Dominion University. So I've been at the university for about a year right now. Just real quick, my background, I come from the Merchant Marine. I'm a licensed deck officer that used to sail. I used to teach at one of the maritime academies at New York, so SUNY Maritime College. I'm also an active reservist. I've done a lot of active duty time. I'm a strategic sea lift officer, and I'm currently finishing up my PhD in the future of mariners and mariner education with the onset of autonomous shipping. So ODU is kind of pursuing everything and anything dealing with maritime, and we call that the Maritime Initiatives, which basically created my position. So what are we considering maritime? It's anything that touches water. So it's anything from shipping companies, to Navy, to supply chain, to engineering, to the shipyards. So pretty much based on ODU's location, it's really prime to help support this region for the industry, for the military, for anything that's related to maritime. So ODU is going in this direction with the maritime initiatives. So why is ODU doing maritime besides its location? Well, as you all know, most of the earth is covered by water, and pretty much everything you use and touch has come from overseas. And how does it get here? By ship. So over 90% of the world's goods is moved by ship. And there was a proven need or gap to have a university kind of take this initiative based on the needs of the region, the local economy, and the regional economy, and just all the opportunities that abound in this region in Hampton Roads. So ODU did a pretty large study. So they had a taxonomy report that came out about 2 years ago now. And what this study did was to look at the region, look at the industries, look at the assets of the area, and find out what the gaps are. And when they did this study, they kept seeing maritime. It kept popping up. And there was no real structure at the university to help pursue even further what it already does in maritime. And also looking at the region, for those of you that live here, I'm sure you are aware of all the assets that we have in the region. And if you're not, here are some of the assets for the Hampton Roads area. So we have 5,000 miles of shoreline and 4 tidal rivers. We have one of the world's deepest natural harbors, and we're currently deepening it. We have the world's largest Navy base. It's only a couple miles from the main campus of Old Dominion University. We have the largest national concentration of shipbuilding, ship repair, and the ship trade activity in the country right here in Hampton Roads. We have the Port of Virginia. This is a top port and logistics node on the East Coast that's doing phenomenal in the region. And we also have a lot of other supporting industries, such as a developing offshore wind industry with the push to create or to build the wind turbines off of Virginia Beach. We have a growing field in cybersecurity, IT, alternative energy, and also a growing unmanned autonomous systems market. We're also very keen on coastal adaptation and resilience. So based on this location, we do have issues with rising sea waters. So we do have a lot of industry and research and academia focused on coastal resiliency. We have a lot of public assets, for example, JLab, NASA, Wallops Flight Facility. And we're doing a lot in this region to help support the growth of the maritime industry in this region. So with this taxonomy study that came out a couple years ago at ODU, it looked at the region, identified, maritime as a gap that needed to be filled, and then it did kind of an internal look at what was available and already existing at the school. So there's many current institutes and organizations affiliated or associated or directly under ODU that either supports or directly deals with promoting the maritime industry. So for example, I have an office over at VMASC, which is Virginia's Modeling, Analysis, and Simulation Center. So over at VMASC, we have a couple institutions. One is called Hampton Roads Maritime Industrial Base Ecosystem, or MATB. Another is Digital Ship, and I'll go into detail about those two. But we also have a plethora of other institutions, either directly affiliated or owned by ODU, dealing with maritime. Another one to mention, Virginia Institute for Spaceflight and Autonomy, or VISA, and things like ICAR, Institute for Coastal Adaptation and Resilience. So with the creation of the Maritime Initiatives, so as I mentioned, it's a new initiative. I've been here for a year this week. It's been a whirlwind of a year. It's been really a great journey so far. There's been so much opportunity for networking and working with industry, working with the military, Navy, Coast Guard, Department of Homeland Security. Everything is really centrally located to Norfolk and the Hampton Roads region. So I have a faculty advisory committee at ODU to help guide me with where the maritime initiatives are going to help best support the region. And I also work directly with industry and the government. So we came up with the mission for ODU's Maritime Initiatives. And what this is we're trying to provide progressive education because we are a university, research because we are an R1 institution, so we're the highest level of research that's obtainable for a university, and also innovation that promotes the blue economy. And our vision is to be globally recognized as a center of excellence in maritime. So that is our goal, to grow and to becoming really a leader and a destination for maritime enterprise. With the mission and the vision, we have set strategic goals for ODU's Maritime Initiatives. And this kind of lays out more of our areas of focus of what we want to obtain in the next few years. So education, again, as an institution or as a university, we're looking at really how to adapt our academic programs to kind of involve or have a flavor of maritime. For example, working with industry to solve their problem sets for our students. So they have increased networking, they're more familiar with the jobs that are available in this region, and also to inspire leadership, promote diversity, and prepare students for the future of the maritime industry to have them grow in careers in this region. Also engagement, so we're here to grow strategic partnerships with everyone involved in the region. This includes academia, so other colleges in the region, community colleges, career and technical education centers, the government, the military, and also industry related or supporting maritime. As I mentioned, we're an R1 university, so we're very keen on promoting research and also innovation, so innovation and entrepreneurship with maritime-related companies and maritime-related research. And we want to be the partner of choice for leading institutions. And this is to support national maritime strategy, solve key industry problems, protecting the natural environment, especially based on our location, contribute to workforce development, and also to promote entrepreneurial growth in the region. We're also here to promote communication, which I'll talk about more in one of the upcoming slides. So the Maritime Initiatives, after going over the mission and the vision, I hope you have a better understanding of what we're trying to do. And with that, I've kind of broken it down into 6 areas of focus to better understand where ODU is trying to grow in the maritime space. So the first one is K through 12 and K through 20 workforce pipeline and outreach. So this is outreach to middle schools, high schools, and also other community colleges as it covers K through 20 as well. So as I mentioned, VMASC, Virginia's Modeling, Analysis, and Simulation Center, has 2 business units that deal a lot with curriculum development and outreach for this area. So one is called Digital Ship. So Digital Ship has been around now for about 5 years. So this was started with backing from the Virginia Growth and Opportunity Grant to support digital transformation, in particular for the shipbuilding and ship repair industry. So what Digital Ship does, it has a very talented staff and very dedicated researchers that conducts interdisciplinary applied research and development. And basically they're here to accelerate digital innovations and advance current and future maritime workforce. So far, they've been around again for about 5 years, and they've done over $10 million in total awards. They've engaged in thousands and thousands of people through curricula, outreach, and workshops. So they go out and visit, high schools and middle schools and have online programs. And they've done almost 100 papers, demos, chapters, and presentations. So really a talented group that again resides at VMASC. A couple examples to give you an idea of what Digital Ship does. One is Maritime Career Experience, or MCX. What this builds immersive interactive environment, leveraging Epic Games and the Unreal Engine platform to highlight specific maritime careers and their daily roles to build interest and education content. So basically using a kind of a game or virtual reality or game type environment to bring maritime careers to our youth, to get them interested into the maritime skilled trades and also careers, any type of career in the maritime industry. Another example is called Propelling STEM. This builds upon interactive gamified immersive experience. It's a learning system highlighting exploration of digital shipbuilding and repair content, and builds upon concept pillars such as virtual reality, augmented reality, smart ship, AI, cybersecurity, things like that. So again, using gamified virtual reality experiences to expose our youth to the maritime industry and all of the careers that they can potentially have. Another example of what Digital Ship does is called CASH. This is Contribute, Approve, Curate, Hyper Distribution Engine. So quite a mouthful, that's why we call it CASH. This is a small business technology transfer, or STTR, that's where it started. What this is, it's a web-based knowledge sharing system to enable peer-to-peer knowledge sharing for Navy sailors. So as Navy, as people working for the Navy retire, all that knowledge and experience that they have, we don't want to lose that. We don't want to lose that as this generation of retiring people that have 20, 30, 40 years in the Navy. We don't want to lose that experience that they have, because it's really irreplicable, because they have that hands-on, lifelong career learning that's really hard to replicate. So what CASH does is it interviews and uses knowledge capturing systems to try to capture all of that experience from these sailors to be able to share it with the next generation. So think of it as a web-based content library to help train the future of the Navy. Another program is called ODU, and this stands for Operationally Directed Instructional Network Engineering Library. So ODU is for support of Commander Navy Regional Maintenance Command. And basically what ODU is, it's looking at how training affects the readiness of the fleet. So it's based on the current crews that are staffing the Navy ships. It's based on their competencies and training, and it takes those competencies and trainings of the ship's crew to see how ready the fleet is. They're also trying to track the decay of skills with non-practical use. So, for example, as I mentioned, I'm in the Merchant Marine. I haven't sailed in probably over 10 years. So I have the skills and competencies to be able to navigate, but I haven't done it in so long. So how does that affect my actual ability to be able to navigate? So it takes time. It's like riding a bike. Once you do it, once you're in it, you're able to remember those skills, renew those skills. But how does that training decay over time when you're not applicably using these skills? So that's one of the goals of ODU. So those are some of the examples of what Digital Ship does. They do have a website, so please Google them. You can find it off of ODU's site, or just Google Digital Ship in Norfolk, Virginia, and you can get lots more information on what they do. Another institute or business unit that resides within DMASC that deals with workforce pipeline and outreach is called MATB, and this stands for Hampton Roads Maritime Industrial Base Ecosystem. So what this was basically created to address the Navy's fleet readiness challenge. So it basically, it's here to help support the readiness of the Navy's fleet. And being in this location, it's so important, again, with all the shipyard, ship repair industry in this region, and all the affiliated companies supporting the Navy and the defense system, or the defense industry. What MATB wants to do is brand Hampton Roads as a model for defense maritime resilience, as a center for defense and resiliency. So it's focused on incorporating the future of the industry, so Industry 4 and 5.0. So far, it's done over $6 million worth of funding. Some particular projects that might be of interest to you that MATB is working on. One is to create a defense manufacturing strategy for the region. And this is to basically recommend strategic actions to form the basis of a Commonwealth policy for defense manufacturing. Another great program that MATB is working on is called MEET. This stands for Maritime Entry to Employment Training. And what this is, it's from a Go Virginia Department of Housing and Community grant. It's a 3-year project in development. And what it does, it's building upon the current COVA map. So if you've heard of COVA map, great. If you're not familiar with COVA map stands for Coastal Virginia Maritime Advanced Program. So this has been used by over 800 trainees from industry, from public high schools, from community colleges, and also activated U.S. Navy reservists. So COVA MAP provides basic skills in mathematics and measuring, and also provides skills to prepare people for outside machinist, marine electrician, and ship rigging programs. So it's a really great program. It's online, it's free. So MEET is building off of COVA MAP, which already exists and is in use. And what MEET does, it'll build upon those programs and expand this to provide entry-level instruction for maritime pipe fitters, fiber optic technicians, and welders. So it's a great program, again, to help promote the skilled trades in the region for Hampton Roads based on the needs of the region. Another example of what one of the programs that MATB is working on is called MTM. This is the Maritime Trades Magnet Training. So this is outreach for high school. So it's focused on 10th and 11th grade high school career technical education. So it's this project for high schoolers, at their, 10th, 11th grade. So it's more catered towards when students are starting to think about their future, what happens after high school. And what it does, it's an online program, and it introduces them to advanced manufacturing instruction that aligns with maritime trade opportunities. So maritime trade job opportunities. For example, it provides learning modules on 3D printing, on robotics. It's currently in 14 schools across 7 districts in the Hampton Roads region, and it's engaged over 300 students so far. So another great program. So if you're interested, you can feel free to Google it and learn more about it. The last example I have for what MATB does is called Maritime Skilled Trades Alignment, or MSTA. So this is a Department of Labor project, and basically it's to establish a common standard of trade skilled designators in shipyards for certification portability. So once these skill sets and these trade skill designators are better regulated and better defined, they're easier to transport. So if a person wants to, change jobs or change companies, these certifications are better defined for these certifications. So those are some examples of what MATB and Digital Ship does over at BMASC. So that's one area of focus for the maritime initiatives at ODU. Another area of focus is curriculum development. So what we have recently announced is the proposal for a new school. So if you haven't heard about this, it came out a few months ago. We announced the proposal of a new school for supply chain, logistics, and maritime operations. So we looked at the needs of the region. We looked at the needs of the industry. We have an industry advisory board, and we decided to create this independent standalone school. It's interdisciplinary. We're in the works of building programs for it now. And again, it's just to support the needs of the region. So currently we do have programs in maritime supply chain management. So having kind of that maritime flavor does make us unique and stick out within this programming. But it's also, we're going to provide programming to support the entire supply chain. And it also leaves room to create new programming certificates, short graduate programs to support the needs of the military and support the needs of the industry and house it within this new school. So we're currently looking for a new director, and we're hoping to really grow this program from what it is now, and really the sky's the limit. So as I learn more the needs of the industry and the needs of the Navy, the Coast Guard, and other branches of the military, we can potentially work with them to create and develop new programs that can be housed within the school. So it's a great announcement. It's a great win for the school to help support all of the other industry that falls within supply chain logistics and operations. We're also working with Newport News Public Schools for the potential of a maritime type of programming for high school. So we're calling this the MCIC, which stands for Maritime and Coastal Innovation Collaboratory. So right now we have a planning grant. So we're working with industry, we're working with other community colleges and CTE programs to really help build up a program focused on maritime to have exposure at the high school level. Because a lot of you that don't know about the maritime industry, especially when you're when you're young, when you're in high school, before you graduate. It's to give more of an opportunity to get that exposure at that level, to give ideas of what people can do to have careers in this region and really help support the local economy. Other things we're doing at ODU, we're trying to involve more maritime related careers and exposure to the maritime industry into the curriculum for different majors, minors, and programming across the university. So that's something we're starting up now this year. We're hopefully going to start with the College of Engineering. So we're looking at adding maritime careers and kind of just a baseline and overview of what the maritime industry is across all facets and what's available here in the region. And we're going to try to incorporate some of this knowledge into the engineering 100 level courses. So this way, as students, enter these programs, they have a better idea of what's out there, in particular in supporting the maritime industry at an earlier stage. So it's just another way to help with workforce and to help support what's really happening in this region. And exposing our students to these wonderful careers that they otherwise wouldn't know about. So I'll be working with the faculty and the deans and the staff at ODU to see where we can really incorporate maritime into their curriculum. I'm also going to work at creating a new course, kind of like a Maritime 101 that's available to certain majors as an elective. And again, just to spread exposure and to help with workforce. We're also going to look at certificates, crossovers, working with other maritime training institutions in the region, and working with the military and industry to meet their needs and see what we can create at ODU to help support those needs. So this is really, again, like I said, the sky's the limit. There's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot right here. So if you have any interest in that, please do reach out to me. I'll be your point of contact. Next area of focus that ODU is looking at through the Maritime Initiatives is external outreach. So this first year, I really spent a lot of time going out into industry. So meeting and greeting with people to really learn what skills that they need for their employees, to where the gaps are, and to see how we can fulfill those gaps. And also to help grow the relationships we already have with the industry and the military. And this includes nonprofits, educational institutions, and to start new relationships to see where we can go for other research, for other grants, and to help build relationships with ODU based on its location, basically with any institution that's out there supporting maritime. We're trying to increase presence at conferences. So I've spoken at a number of conferences, regionally, nationally, and internationally. Last year, we co-hosted Oceans 22, which was in Virginia Beach. This is one of the largest maritime-related conferences in the country. And we just attended Oceans 23, that was in Limerick, Ireland. So I went over with a couple professors, Tom Allen and also Jerry Cronin from ODU, to give a half-day tutorial, more focused on autonomous systems, but we were there to represent ODU. So just kind of getting our face out there as much as we can, so people know, what our interests are, and to pursue the maritime track. Okay, next slide, please. I'm also here at ODU to provide internal cohesion. So we are a medium-sized university. We have over 18,000 undergrad students and about 5,000 graduate students. So a very large student body. And we have, a plethora of different colleges, schools, majors, and minors. So with a school of that size, the colleges and departments can tend to be siloed, and it's not as easy to pass information, especially dealing with particular research projects or curriculum that's being developed. So in order to help facilitate more communication within the university, dealing with maritime, I created what's called the Maritime Collaborative. So this is a voluntary collaborative for faculty. We have about 75 faculty signed up from across all colleges and departments, which is really, really great to see. I have a lot of support from the faculty and staff. So even people from the art department, the College of Arts and Letters, from engineering, from business, from science, from oceanography, from English. So really a lot of support from the faculty, and the Maritime Collaborative gives a space for faculty to come together and kind of represent what they're doing that's affiliated with maritime. So it's really been great to spark partnerships with other departments. What I love seeing at these collaboratives, we meet about quarterly, is people exchanging business cards and information and finding out from other faculty where they have gaps in their own research or needs for faculty and partnership across other departments, and they fulfill these gaps by these interactions with faculty within this space. So it's been very successful. I'm very happy about it. We'll continue to meet quarterly to help, again, to promote communication within maritime. Another thing I established is a faculty advisory committee. So we have representation from all colleges and departments across the university. So I make sure that everyone is involved in the space of maritime, of the direction of where the school is going. So as I mentioned, ODU is an R1 university. So I'm definitely here to help increase research. So interdisciplinary research, programs and funding opportunities. And we also want to focus the school on the future of the industry. So we're looking at things such as advanced manufacturing, mission engineering, offshore wind, coastal resiliency, and autonomous systems. I just want to mention some of the out-of-the-box projects that I get to be a part of, which I'm very excited that I would never think about, coming from the maritime industry. For example, the Barry Art Museum is going to work on a maritime-themed gallery space, which hopefully will be opened next year. There's a couple internal projects that faculty are running. One is a maritime mural, which will be hopefully, again, created this year. And again, when students come in and see, maritime mural and they see what's involved, they see, the ships and the people represented and the tourism and the trade and really what's the industry of this community, it'll start to get them thinking of future jobs and careers and things that they can potentially be involved with. There's another project that a couple of faculty are working from the College of Arts and Letters, which is very exciting, is a container sound experience. So to record sounds from the environment, from the industry, and also do interviews of people that work in the maritime space, and also to help promote the marine environment and coastal resiliency, and have this as like an interactive experience. So I'm looking right now to help them with a container donation. So if any of you out there have any any insight to that, I'm working with a couple companies right now to potentially get a container donated. But things like that, it really inspires me to help do more and do things in ways that I would never have thought of before. Because of the maritime industry, sometimes when you're kind of on the outside, you think of the Navy, you think of the shipyard, you think of just moving containers. Like, what does that have to do with me? Well, it's so much more than that. And programs like this and experiences that we can create to help promote the maritime industry will do nothing but help the workforce and help the regional economy. Another area of focus for the Maritime Initiatives is marketing, communication, and advertisement. So I'm working on creating an ODU Maritime website. So this will be a landing page for military, industry, academia, students, faculty, to know what's going on in the region and to know what's going on internally at ODU. So we can have internship opportunities, job opportunities, conferences, just as a landing page, and also to connect to other programs that's going on at ODU that's connecting to maritime. So that's something I'm working on with the communications department at ODU. And we're working on branding and getting our name out there. I also have started an annual maritime symposium. So we had our first symposium this past April. It was very successful. It was sold out. We had President Jennifer Boykin, who's president of Newport News Shipbuilding, as our keynote speaker. And we also had MARA Director Admiral Ann Phillips do a video recording. Really successful event. And again, it provided a space to bring together academia, industry, and military within the context of ODU. We had panels on coastal resiliency, on workforce, on naval maritime enterprise, on the future of the maritime industry, and it gave a chance for faculty to be exposed to what's going on in the industry that they otherwise wouldn't be. We're going to have it annually. I'm planning for probably April of this year, and get more student and faculty involvement. So if you want more information about that, please let me know, and we would love to have your involvement with our next Maritime Symposium. The last area of focus that the Maritime Initiatives is involved with is small business innovation and entrepreneurship. So we have something called the IIE. This is down on Bank Street in downtown Norfolk. It's the Institute for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. The executive director is Mr. Paul Olson. Within the IIE, we have a few really successful institutions. One is Open Seas Technology Innovation Hub, or Open Seas. The executive director is Jerry Cronin, and he's really focused on commercialization of products that help support anything solving a maritime type problem. We also have the VBOC, which is the Veterans Business Outreach Center, and the Women's Business Center, and also we have a Veterans, Women's, and a Business Development Center at the IIE. So if you want more information of that, you can just Google the IIE and get more information. Really a talented staff down there under the guidance of Paul Olson, and it's right here in downtown Norfolk. So that's kind of a snapshot of what we're doing at ODU within the maritime space. I'd love to open it up for any questions. And if you have anything that you'd like to discuss with me offline, you're more than welcome to contact me. My email is right there. And I really look forward to working, with this region and help growing, the maritime industry in all different facets. It can do nothing but help promote, workforce and the economy here in Hampton Roads. So thank you so much for listening to me. And I'd like to open it up to questions.
We have one question in the chat. It comes asking about, have you looked at the Maritime Domain Awareness Solution? An OPT, Maritime Domain Awareness Solution, can provide remote autonomous monitoring that enables enforcement of maritime law. And they provide a link.
Thank you for that. I'm familiar with maritime domain awareness, but I'm not familiar with that particular topic that you sent. So thank you for that link. Yeah, if you can make sure I have access to that.
Very good. We'll go ahead and share that over to her.
Yeah. Well, real quick, I'm gonna go to the next slide, and we asked that I don't know why it's not showing up. None of my graphics are showing up, but we've got a quick survey that we have got the link up there, and we can get it into chat. And then our Eventbrite, you can go ahead to look at our upcoming events that we have coming up. So while Gerald asked the question in here, if you can go ahead and take that short survey, that will trigger you getting the slides from this event. So back over to you, Gerald.
So Elspeth, thank you for a great brief. That was a lot of information. There's quite a bit of activity going on within this maritime initiative. The symposium that you had this year, where was that located?
It was at VMask. So it was at VMask, which is in Suffolk, and this year I will have it on campus. So hopefully at the Web Center, so it'll be more accessible to students and faculty.
Awesome. And then I heard you mention a couple of times resilience, and for this area particularly, that is a huge deal with the rising sea levels and I forgot the technical term for it, but the land sinking at the same time. And are there sitters within ODU that are focused on how that phenomenon affects the maritime industry, i.e. the shipbuilding industry, the ports, and how that infrastructure will need to be adapted to mitigate against those events and some of the innovation and ideas that are coming through your center to come up with solutions for those?
Yes, so that all resides within ICAR. So absolutely, because that's such a huge risk to, in particular, this area. So there have been, there's been research done by different faculty, different programs I can get you a list of what's been done, but that predominantly resides within ICAR. So ICAR is the Institute for Coastal Adaptation and Resiliency. So the director for that is Professor Jessica Whitehead, and maybe you can get the link up there for ICAR. But yes, that is definitely one of the priorities, and that is housed within ICAR. So the Maritime Initiatives is kind of the overarching umbrella for everything, and within that, ICAR is specifically focused on that. And I know there have been a couple projects in particular with the port, and I'm not sure with the shipyards, but I could find that out. But ICAR is your solution for that.